people, welcome to Growth TV. I am Tiffany and I am here to help you to grow through your everyday experiences and to help you to live your life purpose. This is Thursday Thrive and I'm continuing the theme for the month on peace and balance. Achieving peace and balance, maintaining peace and balance. I'm going to talk about it. Do you have it? Do you need it? Stay tuned. I'm going to help you out a little bit. And in this episode, I'm talking about the balance portion. How do you maintain balance when it feels like you just don't have enough time to get everything done? So I'm going to give you my 3 to Thrive, which are my 3 tips to help you to grow in this area and thrive. So without further ado, let's get right to it. Okay, so we all have our different sets of responsibilities and tasks and things that we, need to get done and want to get done on a daily basis. And so depending on what your load may be, you could be, have a family where you have to not only worry about your own agenda and time in your task list, but you have your families to help juggle as well. If you have a staff or a company, then you have other added responsibilities onto your own personal things that you want and need to get done. So I'm going to give you a few tips here to help you, get your balance together and maintain your peace through it all. Tip number 1, get the 411. What do I mean by get the 411? That means gather information. Look and see what you have to do, your whole gamut of stuff. And then find out what it is that's truly the overwhelming part. What is overwhelming you? So when you're overwhelming you, that's a lot of things coming at you at one time. So we're talking about bulk and quantity. Find out what it is that is overloading your schedule. Then dig a little deeper and move beyond the quantity, but then start to look at the quality of things that is on your agenda. What is draining you? What is the thing that's really pulling from you and not really giving you the return on your investment that you really like? And so once you get that information, then you could properly take action and figure out, okay, if it's not fueling you and it's draining you, then maybe it needs to come off of your list and onto someone else's. Because a lot of times there's things that need to get done, but they don't necessarily need to get done by you. And so find out if it's something that needs to get done and if there's someone else who is more qualified or as qualified as you to get it done, which would then leave you free to focus on the things that only you can do so that you have more effective use of your time. Or you could not only find out if there's things that can move off your schedule to someone else's, but things that can move off of your agenda and your schedule altogether. Some things just don't need to be done. Not only do you not enjoy it, but it just doesn't give you a return on your investment at all. And sometimes it just doesn't even need to be done. It's those things that are just fillers of some things you just used to doing. So take a good look at what you got going on. Get the 411, gather information, see what's overwhelming you and the things that are draining you. So once you figure out those things, you can start to eliminate some things off of your task list and then have some things left that you really enjoy that are meaningful and productive and that really fuels you. Tip number 2, prioritize. Now that you have the information that you need, then it's time to prioritize what is on your schedule. What needs to be done when? Now, when I say prioritize, I don't mean just, listing things, most important, least important. I want you to do that. But I also want you to go a step further. Now, once you've listed the things that are important and then the weight of importance that it may have, don't just say, okay, these are the 10 things or the 5 or 3 things that must get done. I want you to go beyond that. So actually set a date and time, an appointment for those things. And doing this will do a few things. It will not only, give you more order into your task list, but it'll also free you up to focus on what's important at that particular moment so that you can really give your full attention to what you're doing at that time. Bump the whole multitasking. While it feels and seems efficient, it's really not. Tests have been proven that it's not really efficient. So you want to find a way that you can really focus on what you're doing at that particular moment. And I found that once you assign an appointment to the things that are on your list, then you not only say, I know it's going to get done later, but there's an actual date and time for it to get done. So when you're working on something, and if you're anything like me, your mind may start to wander to all of the things that are on your list that need to get done. You can then quickly bring yourself back to the present moment and your present task, because then you can say, okay, great, it's going to get done. It's going to get done at 2 o'clock. At 2 o'clock, it has its moment. It's not just arbitrarily floating out there. It has its moment. It will have its time to shine. So prioritize, and prioritize with an actual appointment to your task that will help you to focus and get that balance and maintain your peace and sanity while you're at it. Tip number 3, take off the cape. Now, once you've gotten your 411, you prioritize, now is the time for you to take off the daggone cape and realize that you do not have to do it all. You don't have to save the world. Not only do you not have to do it, you couldn't do it anyway. So if you happen to ascribe to that old adage of, and if you want it done right, do it yourself, I get it. I've said it before. In some ways, I kind of agree. But if you want to maintain your peace and balance, you need to be able to take the cape off and move things off of your list. And sometimes you just have to go into that mode. Like when you're sick. When you're sick, you get a whole clear perspective of what's important at that particular moment. If you have the flu, your body aches, or if you're sick and you can't breathe, or whatever your case may be, you realize things fall off the schedule. They'll get done. They won't get done. Who gives a rip? I'm trying to save my life. Or I'm trying to stay sane. I'm trying to breathe. Or whatever you're trying to do, you take care of what's important at that particular moment. And a lot of times in your regular daily life, not even being sick, you need to take that same approach to figuring out what is most essential at that particular moment and letting the other stuff just fall to the wayside. It'll be there when you get back to it. Don't stress yourself out trying to do it all, trying to be Superwoman or Superman. Take the cape off, realize you're human, and get to doing the most important things that is most essential at that moment. And so get a different perspective about, what things you have to get done in your whole schedule. So let's recap. Tip number 1, get the 411. Tip number 2, prioritize. And tip number 3, take the cape off. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Thursday Thrive. And if you did, please do subscribe and share with your friends. And I do hope you'll join me again for the next episode of Thursday Thrive. If you need more support on your journey, go on over to JourneyLifeDevelopment.com and subscribe and receive my inspirational emails and my newsletter. So remember, on your journey, whatever you do, don't just live your purpose.